Happy April Fool's Day. How is everybody?
And we are here, and we ain't fooling today.
No. Well, and as you might know, I'm Frances Reaves, the CEO of Parent Your Parents, and I'm sitting here with this good-looking stud, Michael Miller.
Wow.
The publisher of Miami
She didn't sleep
Community.
at all last night. Oh, great.
And stud, I have some really exciting...
This is for real, folks. All right.
I have some really exciting news.
Let's hear it, Frances Reaves.
Parent Your Parents will soon launch the Senior Swiper. What's the Senior Swiper?
I was going to ask you that, Frances.
Yeah.
What is the Senior Swiper?
It is the elders' version of Tinder. If you're looking for someone special, you swipe right. If you're looking for someone special for the night, you swipe left.
No, come on. Really?
And we've begun our beta testing. And if you're interested, just reach out to us at info@parentyourparents.com.
Wow.
First come, first serve.
Wow. Who knew when we started this? There's this. Frances is also obviously an attorney, a writer, an author. All right, Parent Your Parents. All right, and your 2-minute warning. Do they get a 2-minute warning if they switch to the left? Hey,
and April Fools.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Oh, she got me. Very good. And while we're laughing at this, we're going to do a commercial right now, folks. So hold on 1 second. Here's Grant Miller coming up, folks.
Hey everybody, Grant Miller here. Miami Community Newspaper. We're a call away at 20 seconds. The mighty.
I did, that was good.
It's everything you want. Locally owned. Buy local, shop local. It's a speakeasy. Come on in. Meet Kim and Patrick, the owners.
Hi, welcome to the Mighty.
We specialize in craft cocktails, delicious bar food, and craft beers. So this is our most popular burger. It's a white chocolate guava cream cheese burger. And this is fried honey mustard chicken sandwich with bacon and papas fritas.
I need one mighty blonde ale. Come join us at the Mighty.
And by the way, I want to thank one of our other sponsors, University Credit Union. Mike Welch's team out there is doing a wonderful job. Thank you, Michael, for your support. Now, once is enough.
Yeah, Grant loves it. When we're on the air together, and he just wants to play that commercial over and over and over again.
So, speaking over and over again, people have taken to Facebook and other social media to announce happy things and not so happy things.
Right.
And I frequently see people that are severely injured, or they got to have surgery, or people in their family have died. And so when I see these and I want to make a comment, sometimes there's like 20 to 30, 40 comments. And what are you going to write?
I know.
And everything
Sorry
that's
for your
there.
loss. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So one of them was sorry for your loss. What are some of the other ones?
Well, my heart goes out to you.
Right.
And wait, and here's the other thing too, that kind of, maybe hypocrisy is too strong a word, but it's a little hypocritical, right? In other words, if I see that someone has died and that is someone I know, I'm not going to write to them on Facebook. I'm either going to write a handwritten note or pick up the phone and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so very sorry." You know,
and so that's one of the challenges in today's environment, that we've become so impulsive, and our attention span, clearly mine has, and everybody else's, I suppose, has shrunk.
Yeah.
Where we want to do this immediately.
I agree.
Thinking of you. All right.
Yeah. Oh, thinking of you.
Right.
How exactly?
So there's a friend whose wife has been sick, no exaggeration, for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I would talk to him, I'd always ask, "How's so-and-so?" And finally, I just, I can't ask anymore. I said, but know that I'm thinking of her.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, good for you.
And that was it. All right. Well, I don't know how many ways can you ask how are they doing? All right.
Well, and the other thing that sort of gets to me, Michael, is when people come to you like you're asking for the impossible. Right. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what we need to ask for, is the impossible. I mean, that's the only way we even have the iPhone. Everybody but Steve Jobs said it was impossible. And they say to me, "You can't have your cake and eat it too." Well, then why do I want a cake? I mean, what good is that to me?
So, and when we hear that, it's like, I guess if you wanted to let it, you'd say, "Oh, you're right," and then you sort of give up on the dream.
Right.
And I tell that to Elon Musk, and I wonder what he's got under his sleeves coming up in the next 5 years.
Have you ever seen Elon Musk's mother?
No,
That is a hot-looking woman.
is that right?
Oh, yeah. She used to be a model. And she actually follows Parent Your Parents on Instagram. But she is a beautiful woman. So
And awfully proud of her multi-billionaire son, too.
Well, I bet she is. He's the richest man in the world right now.
Amazing.
Pardon?
Amazing.
Yeah. And he's in his 40s, maybe.
There's some folks that are just a genius. That
He is
maybe
genius.
it's that big thing that he was smoking one day on TV. But you know, you got it. All right. And when he and Francis Suarez said, "Hey, man, I know how we can solve some of this traffic,"
Yeah.
and they all got together and maybe they dig a hole under the ground. Speaking of Francis, oh my goodness, sharp-looking lady.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at her. Yeah.
And speaking of Francis Suarez, he was in the White House not too long ago. Yes, and he's a newcomer on his way up the ladder. I hope you continue to stay in the city of Miami. We need you here,
We
Mayor
need
Suarez.
you.
We don't want you going any place.
We don't
right?
want you going any place.
Right.
And plus, we share first names,
Yeah.
even though we spell them differently.
And yours is spelled with a
E.
E.
That's the female spelling.
And then Reaves is not. It is spelled Reaves.
I know, it's such a
Reaves.
hassle.
All right. All right.
That's my father's fault.
Yes. So let's just chat again about some of these euphemisms. You know, like oh, I'm the last one on the block to know.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Or I'm the last guy.
The low man on the totem pole. Like, that's a bad thing, right? I mean, if you're a low man on the totem pole, aren't you
I
holding
got
everybody
the
else up?
whole world.
In my hands, I've got the whole wide world.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't get that at all.
Okay, so can we talk about COVID? So at this time, I think there are a lot of happy people, but yet there are also families connected to the 540,000, 50,000 people that died.
That died.
And so there are people every day in our county that have died. And so when people ask me how we're doing, I'm wondering, did somebody in your family die
Yeah.
from this? All right. So what is a good way to have that conversation?
Well, here is what I tell people. 99.7% of us have survived to date, which is, and as you know, I'm an elder person, which is a really good thing. It really shows how healthy we are. And the fact that our Elon Musk scientific heads got together and came up with a vaccine, and we're shipping it out to other countries, and Biden surpassed his goal, and we're now at 200 million, which will be 2/3 of us,
Yes.
basically. But on the way here, I was talking to a girlfriend, and her mom had broken her hip, and then they put her in a rehab center right after, and she got COVID. And I mean, she was in her 90s. Her immune system was already down and out because of the surgery. And she got COVID, and 4 days later, they brought her home, of course. She died. And so, of course, Anne is devastated. Of course she is. It's a mother. And it hits you in your heart. And you want to blame somebody. And I've been saying this since we first started these talks, Michael, how the people who are the toughest on our seniors are those they trust. I mean, she was at Johns Hopkins University, one of the top hospitals in the nation. And the doctor still sent her to rehab. He didn't ask the family, can you afford to have this at home? Because that would be safer. And it would have been safer. Not everybody has that luxury, but if the doctor thinks for a minute you might, and he probably has a good idea, I think that's the first thing he should ask you. But seniors are like, let's just send them to rehab. That's what we do. Because guess what? Medicare pays for it.
There's no question that there is that protocol.
Yeah.
And so it's up to to an advocate to say, hold on there, let's have this discussion.
Exactly.
And I have personal experiences, you do, and now that you represent seniors, that you know that there has to be somebody to speak up and speak on behalf of.
And I'm amazed. I'm a lawyer and I write these trusts and wills and put together plans. And I'm just amazed at how, even though, and this was hard for me, I was a healthcare surrogate for one of my clients, but I nevertheless called his family when they asked me about a feeding tube, because I always say no to feeding tubes. But, it's really hard to do, because if you say no to, they call them JPEGs, if you say no to a feeding tube, then that person is going to die sooner versus later. But, and the family wanted the feeding tube. And so even though I could have overruled them, I didn't, because they're family. But you know what? The last 2 weeks of his life, he didn't have fun. He didn't get to eat his chocolate chip cookies. They were sending him all kinds of medication because of things that happen when you're on the feeding tube. When we were having him evaluated for long-term care in the house, she found a big infection there, which she cleaned up, the nurse who came to do the evaluation. But so he could have had 4 days of eating his cookies and enjoying his life, or 2 weeks of being in bed. And look, it's such a hard decision. It is a hard decision, but you really, I'm just telling all of you out there, the harder decision is, how would you feel 2 weeks in a fetal position with not your favorite stuff anymore? And that's what you have to think about.
And I'm sure there's some legal ramifications in there. I'm sure there's some ethical ramifications.
Exactly.
And I worked in a hospital for a while, and when I was really young, and those things came up frequently.
Yeah.
I would see it, and it just really messed with my head. All right.
It does.
Which way do you go? You do this, you do this, you do this, you withhold treatment. No, you treat them, even though you know that whatever it is. So, and certainly a lot of that scare was going on about if there were enough manpower and enough machines back over the summer to be able to keep these people alive, to give them a chance to be able to live. By the way, the Miami Herald's doing a great series that they started it.
You sent it to me.
Oh, I sent it? Oh.
Yeah.
The first video is 26 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it was Jackson Memorial South started filming in April of last year. I'm going to tell you something that was startling, and it
was COVID in the unit.
Yes. And part of that is to do more for yourself, so you can get that into your brain. When you watch it and you see it and remind yourself, it stimulates all these hormones in your head that you are going to remember this.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, it was like I was spellbound. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that I don't know if it came up today. Today's Thursday. I think the second part comes up. It's a really important issue for us to understand what happened.
It
right?
is.
How it happened and the trauma that it caused. And we know that as we're coming out of this, and I tell people, the sun is shining a little bit brighter today. And it's sort of a measure of where they were at.
Right.
Which is, are they going to tell me that their mother died last night?
Yeah.
Right. And so when I do it, I'm just very cautious with people, and to allow and to acknowledge it's not right for everyone. So,
well, but also here's the good news about COVID. I heard this morning on NPR. We're only going to have hundreds of flu cases. I mean, we're not getting to the hundreds because of all this social distancing and wearing a mask. But the doctors say it's even more than that. It's because we are taking care of ourselves. No longer, if we have a fever, we're not going to work because we have a fever. You should never go anywhere with a fever because you're contagious with a fever.
And you bring up a really good point that when we at the office here, there were a bunch of people. We had colds here all the time. It just run through the building.
Yeah.
And it just and it was just the way that it was. Who has it?
Right.
And since March, none. Remarkable. All right.
Because if you're sick, you stay home. It's what you should do no matter what the disease is.
So all that, I guess, as we come out of this, we're all going to have to reevaluate where we are,
Right.
and whether we're going to go to, to a football game and sit 3 inches away from somebody on each side. Tommy's going to the opening on the Marlins today. Where's
Yeah,
that being
he is.
played, Tommy?
Marlins Park. Well, excuse me, Lone Depot Park.
Lone Depot Park. That means interest rates are really low right now. All right. So,
That was $8 or $9 million, wasn't that? They're going to have a good team this year, Tommy. I heard you this morning.
by the way, every morning at about 9 o'clock, right here, you can see Tommy Stitt with mainline Marlins. All right, you can catch him on Facebook.
Yeah, and he
all right,
teaches you how to bet on them
and
too.
YouTube. All right.
You have to take your calculator to bet on baseball. That's all. I know.
And by the way, earlier today we had Lee Sterling. What's the name of his place?
Paramount Sports.
Yeah, ParamountSports.com. Yeah.
Oh, you know that. I could
yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
right?
No, I was
So-
really surprised.
So Lee Sterling, it's really neat. What they do is he has a conversation, and if you're in the club, when you pay this much, this is what you get to go to the front door. And if you pay a little bit more, you get to go into the dining room. And if you're really nice, you get to have dinner. And if you're really good and you have the top membership, you get the whole banana stand.
What's
right?
a whole bananas?
So
Does he want my app?
Yeah,
You know,
he may want that.
the senior swiper.
I like that. Jesus.
Well, in truth, though, Michael, I have to tell you that we are working on it. Match.com has shown interest because the upcoming seniors are people who already know what apps are.
Yes.
So, the younger baby boomers, which is what I am, we know what apps are. Now, I kind of shy away from the idea of using them, but a lot of people don't.
Well, let me ask something. On your phone, do you have Amazon on your phone?
Yeah.
That's an app, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I have Amazon. I have my, even though I've been vaccinated and I've never had a positive COVID test, I still get COVID tested weekly just because of my.
Really? Oh,
And I have a little app on my phone, Healthy Living, and it tells me if I'm negative or positive. I've only received negative, so I don't know.
But you mean the results?
Yeah, just the results.
You
Yeah,
don't hold the phone. You don't hold the phone to your head that says.
Do I have none? Well, they should have that app.
Soon enough.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what else are we going to cover today?
Well, what would you like? What would you like to cover?
I don't know. You tell me.
I love embarrassing him on the air.
Oh, good. I'll pretend to be embarrassed.
See the red? See the red?
Okay.
Well, what was interesting to me when I was listening to Tommy's show this morning with Lee on it was how many sports are still going on. I mean, I can tell you this, the seniors are thrilled. They have something on Saturday, on Sunday. Are we down to the Final Four in March Madness? Yeah. And then we have hockey. And I know Lee was going to the Panthers game tonight. Yeah.
You know all that stuff.
Well, isn't that what you discussed on the show this morning? Yeah.
Wow.
What, you think I don't listen?
She's going to be a guest, I think, on Zoom one day. But let's talk. FIU, by the way, speaking of getting involved, said you guys need to come back to class in June. Right? And there are going to be a whole lot of people. I don't know what percentage are going to go. You know what? I want a reason to go out, all right? And I want a reason to be around other people,
right?
And keep them distance. And we each know that our institutions are based upon personal contact, and Zoom certainly has a place, and blah blah blah, and that's really good, all right? But there are a lot of people, including all the kids, all the seniors. They want to be able to have options on when to go. When people go out to eat, some people go where they were going to be seen or see.
That's true.
They're just not going there to eat food, right? All right.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you something. Speaking of that, are you still playing tennis?
I am. I've never played. I played tennis, but I haven't been playing it recently. What I have done and what I've been able to watch is I'm a walk runner, and so I walk along the ocean. And it used to be that this is what I've noticed. It used to be at least 50% had masks on. And some people, because I would take my mask off. And some people, we had guards everywhere, making sure your mask was on unless you were exercising, et cetera. Now, maybe 5% of the people have it on.
Well, there's no question that it's a new dawn for us. All right.
Yeah.
you can call it New Year, whatever, but it's a new dawn. There's no question.
Right.
People are really feeling good, and the mood is better.
Yes.
And yes, and
a
it's
lot of
and it-
positive.
yes, and it's really wonderful. We started having our team meetings again, right? And we actually tried in September, October. It didn't go too well, right?
Uh-huh.
Because that's when the state opened up, or in Miami-Dade County, and then things went way off. So we're all sitting around in a room. We're saying, okay, you've had your shot a month ago. I've had my shot. You've had. So when do we do anything with this mask?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And everybody has their own sort of feel for what they want to do. But I said, if it's in 2 months from now and we're sitting here, are we going to be wearing our masks?
Well, the CDC says that if you are all inoculated, you can sit inside together and not be worried.
Yes. And we had our family unit together. That was very nice. All right. And so one of the things that we have to get used to is a year that we were protecting ourselves. All right.
Right.
And now when we do something without a mask, it's like, okay, am I doing the right thing? I usually carry it on my wrist now.
Yeah, on the
right.
wrist.
And
It's
then
in my-
if I see somebody, I'll cover my face.
Right.
So
My dress
by the way,
up.
we still have glass in between us. Maybe by July it'll be down. All right. But a lot of people here have been inoculated, vaccinated, and the reports keep coming out. I'm very pleased with us as a city and a county and the state and throughout the country that we've been able to go from this terrible tragedy to making this work for most people.
Right. And they had to. I felt sorry for the spring breakers this year because it wasn't them that was creating the pandemic catastrophe over on Miami Beach. We actually got calls at home because
Key Biscayne.
Yeah, I live on Key Biscayne. So if there was, you could actually bridge over, if there was a bridge, you could bridge to the south part of Miami Beach. And we got calls because everybody was seeing this on national news, the fact that there were guns and all this stuff was going on, and it was a state of emergency. And it was really a few bad apples, and none of them went to college.
And
when we mean.
And when we see when that happens, because there's an old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. That's just the way that it works, right?
That's like if you.
That's right.
Yeah,
there you go.
And the bad news is it's true. No, you know what? On my Twitter feed, I follow Lulu on NPR. I'll think of her name in a minute, but she now, the first thing she posts on her Twitter feed is something positive. And I'm like, yes, that's what, and one of the caretakers that I work with one of my clients is Nigerian. And she says that they go out in the morning and they say, good morning. And, it's like, good morning, Michael. And if you don't say good morning back in a positive way, they go right back inside that house and do it all over again. They're just not going to talk to you. They're going to find someone else to say good morning to, because it's bad luck for the rest of the day if it's not a positive response.
Well, so then we should do what we believe inside, which is, hey, good morning. All right. Yeah. And generate that. And we know that works. We know if we genuinely smile at somebody, all right, that they feel it. I frequently hold doors open for people, because it's the right thing to do, especially if I passed them or I could see them there. And then I'll hold the door and they'll come by, and vice versa. And it's a really nice thing. So we like to smile. Right?
Well, and Michael, I have to say, Michael really is that way. He always walks me out to the front door. Now, truthfully, I think it's maybe because he wants to be sure I get out of the building before.
What do you think, Tommy?
Before I create havoc.
Hey, Tommy, tell us about the Dolphins. What's going on? Okay.
Aren't they a
Tell us
football
about tomorrow.
team?
He's all psyched up. What time's the game begin?
4:10.
4:10 today.
Why do they do that, Tommy? Why do they start them like at 4:10? What's wrong with 4 o'clock?
Just like the thing.
It's like an airline flight.
Lemonade. Well, no, you can't. You need water and sugar too. If I give you water and sugar, you're not making anything.
Right.
Except for popping face.
Right. And it's really too bad vodka doesn't do the same thing for my brain that Elon Musk's cigarettes do for his brain.
Those are left-handed cigarettes.
Oh.
They're real cigarettes.
Oh.
Okay, so let's talk about, here we are in April. right?
April.
What-
April 1st.
April 1st, Easter, Passover just passed over. All right.
Just passed over.
We are having a real experience. By the way, last week we had 2 rabbis on, spoke about Passover. Then we did actually Rabbi's wife, and I interviewed Rabbi Yossi Harlig. And then we also interviewed 2 Zoom on with the local rabbi from Bethel. So I'm all
You're
Passover
blessed,
it out.
baby.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm in. All right. But let's talk about Easter. And
Wait. We will talk about Easter in a second. I just have to say, what I love about Passover and a lot of the Jewish traditions, I'm invited to a lot of Jewish tradition events. But what I love is how when you sit down for Passover, every little thing on that table means something. And it's like, it goes, I mean, it's matzah because there was no yeast. And it's like, and if you've ever been to Israel and seen how absolutely gorgeous it is, and the fact that they were going to just leave and get out of slavery, I mean, it's actually an amazing holiday to me. And in the Christian religion, and that's where I was raised, we don't have that. Good Friday, I mean, it's so one, so I can say it, but here's what you're supposed to do on Good Friday. While on the cross, Jesus Christ had 7 last words. One is like, forgive them, Lord, they know not what they do. I thirst. And then different churches have different people come and do a little 5-minute segment on those words. But then, we don't go home and have a nice meal. I mean, we have that communion, and it's the body and blood of Christ, which, is a little iffy when you think about it as a body and blood, but, it's transformed and they all have this transformative stuff. But I love the idea of like, well, you have red wine on Good Friday to celebrate, but we don't do, and on Easter, we don't do it either. We have eggs.
So one of the things that I learned is that the culture and the tradition is really significant.
Yeah.
The event, what you do, that's one thing. But for me, this is a tradition that I did when I started at 40 years old.
You started doing Passover?
Yeah.
Well, you waited a while.
I was raised as a Unitarian.
Oh, you were raised Unitarian.
And so when we got married, or engaged, my wife's family said, what religion the kid's going to be? I said, Susan, what religion the kid's going to be? She says, Jewish. Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is the tradition and the culture of it to imagine it. I did it. My children doing it. Now I'm seeing my grandchildren doing it. And then all the generations before. And that is something that I can connect to. Right? And the events, okay, here's the eggs. Here's this. Susan and I already forgot some of the pieces, but we'll catch it next year. So let's talk about Easter.
You have that horseradish, the pink horseradish.
Oh my goodness, the horseradish was so hot. Oh my goodness, burn you, right?
It's got to be pink.
Yeah. I said, Susan, it says horseradish and it is in red. That means it is hot. Right?
It's funny.
So Easter is rebirth, right? And
that's true.
When I look at it, when I say the sun is shining a little brighter, truly every day
we should look at that.
When we look at what's going on in our world, and it's perfect. All right. So here it is, an annual tradition. People are getting a little bit more excited. The kids are going to be back in school pretty soon. There's enough vaccine. They're already talking about younger people to be able to do that.
12 to 15, they've already got them.
Yes.
16 to, they already know 16 and over now. They've just done 100% with the Pfizer vaccine for 12 to 15.
And I've not heard much recently where people are complaining about the governments, each of the levels. We got to give everybody a break here.
Yeah.
All right. And I think they addressed it properly, which was these are the people we're going to take care of first, which were the vulnerable, which didn't just meaning just the old people, but people that didn't have access.
Right.
And
right.
Day counting went way out of its way. My compliments.
Well, it took them a while. I thought this show was really the catalyst.
Yes.
Yes. Getting Dade County with those vaccine vans out there.
So, all right. Next week is going to be what is that? Is that the 4th?
4th is Monday.
4th is Monday.
Right. But I was going to tell you about rebirth and Easter.
Okay. We're ready.
I think it was 4 years ago, my birthday, which is today, it's April Fool's, but my birthday was on Easter. And since it was a rebirth, I went back to 30. I figured if Jesus Christ could rise at 30, I could.
Francis Reaves with an A in there and an I.
Yes, I'm only 34 now. So there's a lot of good things about Easter and a lot of great things about being born in April. Besides that diamonds are the birthstone.
She's asking for a birthday gift.
Yeah. Besides the fact that diamonds are the birthstone.
So let's talk about seniors for a second.
Yeah.
All right. So people, they get on with their age, whatever that happens to be, and they may lose their partner. Right. And some have children, some don't. And certainly there's a sense of isolation that goes along with that. And I think a lot of us who spend time at home understand that. Right. And so all of a sudden, here the person's 75, 77, 78, not being able to get around much. What are some of the things they should do and some of the things their family should help them do?
Well, I have really good news on the senior front. As you all know, I'm writing this book. So I've been doing a lot more research on seniors than I have on the law, which I should perhaps do some more research on too, since it's part of my job. But as it turns out, we all seem to think that all seniors will get dementia. And that's not the truth at all. The truth is, from the age of 66 to 74, only 14% of seniors, and that's really early onset type dementia. So it's only 14%. From the age of 74 to 85, it's 17%. So it doesn't go up much at all. It's after the age of 85 where it goes up to a third. And some of those were in the earlier percentages. So what we first have to remember is, because our parents don't seem to be taking care of themselves, that's not necessarily dementia. That could be just the fact that it's a little harder to move. We have a few more aches. I remember mom and dad were fine, but I'd go to that house and, dad was too cheap to have a cleaning lady come in. So I hired one for him. I mean, it was just a question of not wanting to do.
So I live in horse country and I paint this picture. Susan, here's us in 15 years, God willing. We're in our rocking chairs. All right. Our shirt, my hair's like this all over with the gun. Stay away. I don't want to have to deal with you. And that's part of it, where you go, hey, I don't want to have to deal with anything else. I got my world. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm at peace. And world peace is right here on my rocking chair. Yep. And that's okay too. I mean, my father, until he was 92 years old, maybe 93, he would travel. I would go up to Atlanta and I'd get on the plane with him and we'd come down to Florida and he'd go out to my husband's ranch, and he shot his last hog at the age of 91. So he holds that record.
Okay. We're talking about a feral hog, right?
Feral hog, yeah.
Okay. All right. Not the kind of
they're
public.
not fair.
It's not the kind of Publix. Okay.
No.
And how big was that hog?
Oh, I think it was probably about 30 pounds, 30 or 40 pounds.
Feral hogs ruin a lot of farmers' stuff and the ground.
There are no more feral hogs, and you know why? The panthers.
Is that right?
Yeah, the panthers get it.
So we want to know what's next.
So the circle of life is happening right there.
Okay, so here's the question. Somebody asked me the other day, and if we bring them back, we can talk about two folks that are, one was an expert in mosquito control. He has his degree in mosquito biology.
Wow.
He's humanized these spiders, and he brought us pictures where they have different colors, different species, some that don't bite, some that, and filled with blood and everything. So the question is, what purpose do mosquitoes serve? Tommy, do you know what?
There's no purpose at all. But I will show a picture of me when I shot my hog.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, look, let's see this.
This is our ADD schedule today, folks. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
That's
They're not-
Tommy. That's the producer of the show right there. The big Miami Marlins fan. Every day here at Miami's community newspapers, mainline Marlins right here. Good for you, Tommy.
Yay. Where'd you shoot that, Tommy? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Good old Okeechobee.
All right. So mosquitoes. Mosquito season's coming up.
I know.
I know. It's all right.
I hate it because I walk. So, I'm all mosquitoed up and.
So Nike has a thing, just do it. Miami-Dade County, their slogan is, let's see if I got it right, folks, drain and cover.
Yeah.
Wow, I got it right. All right.
Yeah.
It means go around your property, cover, turn the stuff over. Mosquitoes can be in the smallest waters like this.
Right.
And
right,
cover means when you go out, cover up.
Right.
And the mosquito season comes relatively soon. Did you know there's 300 traps around Dade County?
No, I did not.
And
know
they
that.
go around and they can tell what mosquitoes are where. All right. And the
Ah.
quantity of them, know what they need to do. And also that different species, different areas,
And they come and they do that aerosol thing, right?
they can.
Yeah.
All right. With trucks, all right, they don't do the planes, all right, any longer. And they let out, in bad cases, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, sterile males.
Yeah.
So bring down the population, doesn't eliminate it, brings it down so they can control a little bit better. And it's just a management issue. It's
Right.
not an elimination issue. And as
I wonder if we can have an app, for before menopause, if you can swipe for sterile males. In other words, you don't have to worry about getting pregnant, nor do you have to, I'm
now,
just
Tommy,
wondering.
what do you think? I know, folks. This is
I'm just wondering.
okay. All right. So
It's so convenient.
by the way, do you know the mosquitoes are over 25 million years old? And yes,
Oh, they're like cockroaches.
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And by the
wow.
way, I just saw
How did you learn all this? Who did you have on here? Was this
We-
a mosquito biologist?
yes,
Oh, wow.
yes, and it was really intriguing. And he made it into a person. All right. I think he humanized it. I think I asked him to bring in the tube that's filled with mosquitoes and you stick your hand in. He showed me a picture. The guy's hand was covered with the glove. He essentially, I'm not going to say who it was. All right. He said the guy was a chicken. He wouldn't put it in without it. I go, what do you do? They said, put it in and they see how long they stay. And the mosquitoes are smart. When I asked if mosquitoes would lay eggs in this fish tank, outside fish tank, he says, probably not, because first they do it on the edge. Second, the experiments have shown, correct me if I got it wrong, they put their foot on the water to see the vibrations that's in it, and there's too much vibrations. They'll go somewhere else because they know there's fish in it.
Oh, hence the puddle.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes. So
wow.
drain and cover. All right. So we wish you happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too.
Thank you. And to all my friends out there,
Yeah.
we wish you lots of good fortune this year and lots
Yeah,
of good luck.
well,
Right.
I think we have a lot to be grateful for. I think it is a rebirth. I mean, and that's sort of nice about how Passover and Easter come together because they're both moments of celebration of freedom, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you're Jewish, oh my gosh, death passed us over. We were set free. And if you're Christian, then Christ died for your sins so that you can start all over again.
Well,
Of course, it only takes me a day.
okay. So that's you're going to sign us out.
Thought I'd
I'm going to
say.
say goodbye, and you're going to sign us out.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, this is Community News and Parent Your Parents, communitynewspapers.com. parentyourparents.com. We've had a great day today and happy April Fools. And I look forward to your joke.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Francis
much.
Reaves. See you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Michael
Bye,
Muller.
guys. Thank you.